Hi, I'm Shinobi. Today we're going to go ahead and try something really different. I came across an interesting recipe for stuffed cabbage. I don't know if that's a good sign. Maybe. We'll find out. Stay tuned. Welcome to my kitchen. Okay, let's get this party started. We are going to start cooking some items that we will need to have cool so we can work with them before we mix everything together and throw them into the oven. So we are going to start off just making some standard rice. And if you follow the directions on standard rice, you are looking for 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water. When your water gets to a boil, we're going to go ahead and stir in our rice and mix it in. And then we are going to cover it and let that simmer for about 18 to 20 minutes. So that is your standard jasmine rice. I'm using a jasmine rice here. And now I am going to put on a stock pot of water. I do have like a pasta cooker stock pot with a strainer insert. And I'm going to salt down the water and get that boiling while I get my cabbage ready. Now with the cabbage, I decided cabbage is a great price right now that I was going to get 2 different styles of cabbage. I was going to get the green standard cabbage, and I also wanted to get a red cabbage. And the reason being is usually after I make these, I have no idea what to do with the remaining head of cabbage. So this time I kind of went into this pre-planning that I am going to, and you're going to have to stay tuned, I am going to use the remainder of the cabbage to make a coleslaw. And I have a good idea that probably my next video will be well, I'm going to leave it like that. There will be coleslaw added to it. I'm not going to give a spoiler. So I am going to pull off the outside 6 or 7 leaves of each head of cabbage here, because I want a sizable leaf to make my stuffed cabbage rolls out of. So, as I say, 6 or 7 leaves of each head here. And we do have our stock pot of water that's boiling. We have our rice that is simmering. And let's go ahead and put these in our stock pot inside the strainer. And our objective here is we want to cook our cabbage down pretty good. We don't want it completely cooked because this will be thrown into the oven to finish up cooking. Say probably a good 70 to 75% cooked through. I have had situations where my cabbage was a little chewy at the end result. So let's get about 75% cooked. So we're looking probably 12 to 15 minutes of boiling our cabbage. So our rice is ready. We are going to pull that off the heat. We are going to let that cool. And let's go ahead and get our cabbage leaves out. They are looking like they are tender and relatively cooked, and they are going to be very workable. So let's get these pulled out of this water, and we're going to let them cool so we can work with the leaves as well. So our rice is going to cool, our cabbage leaves are going to cool. Let's get this drained out really good and set aside. There we go. Lovely colored water there. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I like these little mini sweet peppers here. I like them because they add some color to the food. They add some zing. You can use a green pepper. If you use a green pepper, you're still going to get a great flavor. You know, I like using these little peppers here. So I will go ahead and prep these out. I cut them in half. I'm going to remove the seeds and the white membrane inside. So what I have here is also equivalent to about maybe a quarter of a green pepper, and then we're going to use a half an onion. So we are going to chop down our onion, and we will chop down our peppers. Slowly but surely, I'm getting better at my chopping skills, so still have all the tips of my fingers. Hopefully you have your tips of your fingers as well. Alright, so as we finish this up here, as I said, those of you who have watched some of the other videos, I do like to clean up behind myself. So finish chopping these up, and then I'll get my workspace cleaned up a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and we're going to preheat our oven now. So let's preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Now I have 1 pound of hamburger. And we will mix in our half an onion and our peppers. Now normally at this point I would just dive right in with my hands and just start going to work. But I had cut my hand, so I am going to do the right thing, and I am going to use a mixer. I have these cool little mixing sticks that gonna help me get the beef, the onions, the peppers all mixed together. Let's go ahead and get our rice. Our rice should be cooled down now. We really do want to have our rice cooled down because if it is too hot, it's going to start transferring that heat and cooking our meat right here in the bowl. I've gotten excited before and I had hot rice and I just mixed it in and surprisingly the beef started cooking inside my bowl before I even had it all put together. So I like to let the rice cool down, and then that way it is workable. Also, if you can dive right in and start using your hands, it's probably not going to burn your hands either. Now, I am going to add some pepper. I am going to add some garlic salt. And I'm going to mix those in. So I have added about a quarter teaspoon of pepper and about a teaspoon of garlic salt. Now I have a 15 ounce can of tomato sauce. I'm going to put about a half of that can in here. So about 8 ounces of tomato sauce. Let's go ahead and mix it all together. And now I've jumped ahead to working with the leaves. What I want to do is I want to get a good sized scoop of the beef and go ahead and place it right in the bottom side that was attached to the core. I want to go ahead and fold that over and fold the sides in and then continue rolling it. Kind of want to wrap it up like I'm making a tortilla or a breakfast taco. So you spread the leaf out with the stem side facing you. Put a good sizable chunk of meat in the middle and then just roll it over a little bit. Fold in the sides. There we go. Fold in the sides here. And then just continue rolling it up. Basically like a tortilla, breakfast taco. we're getting a nice sized cabbage roll. So getting technical, we're putting about a third cup of the meat filling inside and in the end, it's looking like we should have about 6 of each, or 12 leaves. So we'll have about a dozen of the meat and rice filled cabbage rolls. Okay, so now, as I like to do, I'm going to clean up a little bit. Then I am going to get some tomato paste and the remaining tomato sauce in half. So with the tomato paste, I'm going to go ahead and generously coat the top of the cabbage rolls with the tomato paste. I'm going to use the whole can here. They usually come in a smaller container, a smaller pan. The knife isn't working the best for me, so I'm going to go ahead and smear it around. I'll take the rest of that tomato sauce, and unfortunately, I do not have a lot to really put on there. So I am going to get another can. I have another can of an organic tomato. It's more of a chopped, diced tomato. Because I really want to have these covered. I want to let a lot of the heat transfer through the tomato juice and cook into the cabbage. It's going to help cook the cabbage, really bake in some really good flavors. Let's go ahead and even this out on the top. Clean up a little bit behind myself. That looks beautiful. Let's get some aluminum wrap. We'll go ahead and seal this up really good with the aluminum foil. Let's go ahead and throw this bad boy in the oven. So our stove is preheated to 350 degrees. We'll throw this in here for 45 minutes. Can go from 45 to an hour. Just kind of keep it. And that was a quick 45 minutes right there for you. Let's go ahead and pull these out and take a look. Delicious cabbage rolls with the beef and rice filling. I hope you enjoy these. These are delicious. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you go ahead and give these a try, please leave me some feedback, what you think. Even send pictures. Thanks, everybody. We're going to need a bigger pan. Bigger pan. Hopefully I'll be able to get these both videos put out back to back. That way you can see how to make a lovely stuffed cabbage. Let's do that.